Buy now, pay later (BNPL) schemes have exploded in popularity in recent years, particularly among younger consumers who value instant gratification and flexible payment options. At first glance, these services appear to be a financial godsend. They allow you to take home a product immediately, with little or no upfront cost, and spread the remaining payments over a few weeks or months without interest, at least on the surface. Platforms like Afterpay, Klarna, and Affirm have cleverly positioned themselves as smarter, more user-friendly alternatives to credit cards, often marketing themselves with bright, attractive visuals and promises of financial empowerment. This convenience appeals to a generation that may lack savings or have a distrust of traditional banking, making BNPL a tempting option for online and in-store purchases alike. However, behind this enticing facade lies a series of psychological and financial traps that can easily ensnare even the most responsible spenders. These services subtly encourage impulsive buying behaviors, downplay the consequences of delayed payments, and often lead users to rack up more debt than they can comfortably handle. In this way, what starts as a simple, risk-free shopping experience can quickly morph into a dangerous cycle of overextension, missed payments, and long-term financial stress, especially for individuals who are not fully aware of the fine print or who lack strong budgeting discipline. One of the most deceptive aspects of buy now, pay later (BNPL) services is the illusion of affordability they create. When consumers see a product priced at $20,000 split into 4 easy payments of $5,000, the item suddenly seems more financially accessible, even though the total cost remains the same. This breakdown tricks the brain into perceiving the purchase as less significant or burdensome, leading individuals to spend more than they originally intended. Behavioral finance experts often refer to this as pain of paying, the psychological discomfort of parting with money. BNPL reduces that pain by minimizing the upfront cost, effectively dulling the internal alarms that would normally prevent someone from making a non-essential purchase. The result is a consumer base that shops more impulsively and accumulates multiple installment plans without fully realizing how they're stacking up. Over time, these small, seemingly harmless commitments can balloon into a heavy financial burden, especially if several repayments overlap within the same period. Without a clear picture of their total monthly obligations, users are more likely to mismanage their cash flow, skip payments, and fall into debt. In other words, the very structure that makes BNPL feel so easy and affordable is what ultimately undermines financial control and stability. A major trap of buy now, pay later (BNPL) lies in how multiple overlapping payment schedules can silently snowball into overwhelming debt. Unlike a traditional loan, where you're aware of the total amount you owe and when it's due, BNPL purchases often spread across different timelines, making it difficult to track your overall liabilities. For instance, a person might buy clothing on one app, electronics on another, and groceries from a third, all with different repayment terms. Individually, these purchases may seem manageable. But when you consider that payments for each item might hit simultaneously in a few weeks and possibly overlap for months, the financial pressure intensifies. This becomes even more dangerous for users who don't regularly monitor their bank balance or use a budgeting tool. Unlike with a credit card statement that summarizes total dues, BNPL platforms often do not provide a consolidated view of your pending payments across different purchases. This lack of transparency makes it easy to lose track of what you owe. Before you know it, you're paying off multiple purchases at once while still tempted to make more, assuming the next easy installment won't hurt your pocket. This cycle results in a revolving door of repayment commitments, which can lead to bounce payments, overdraft fees, and even account freezes, particularly if you're living paycheck to paycheck. While BNPL platforms advertise themselves as interest-free and consumer-friendly, this image quickly deteriorates when a payment is missed. Many users are unaware that failing to make a scheduled installment can trigger a cascade of financial penalties, including late fees, account restrictions, and negative reporting to credit bureaus. Although not all BNPL providers report missed payments to credit agencies, some do, and the trend is growing. This means your credit score, which impacts everything from loan approvals to job opportunities in some countries, could suffer over a missed payment of even a few thousand rupees. Worse yet, missed payments often don't result in just one fine. Some services impose daily penalties or fixed charges for every late installment, quickly multiplying the cost of a small original purchase. In some cases, if the debt remains unpaid, it may be handed over to debt collection agencies, introducing an entirely new level of stress and legal complication. These hidden traps are often buried deep in terms and conditions that few consumers ever read, especially younger or first-time users. As a result, people end up learning about the consequences only after it's too late, when they've already damaged their financial reputation or depleted their bank balance. What was once promoted as a no-risk or interest-free purchase suddenly turns into an expensive mistake loaded with financial and emotional consequences. BNPL platforms are not just financial services, they are sophisticated psychological tools engineered to influence spending habits. These services capitalize on behavioral economics principles such as instant gratification, loss aversion, and reduced pain of payment. By allowing people to acquire a product instantly without the psychological sting of a full upfront payment, BNPL distorts the natural hesitation one might feel before a purchase. This manipulation is further enhanced by the seamless integration of BNPL options into online and in-store checkout systems, where users are nudged with phrases like, "just 4 easy payments," or "no interest if paid on time." These cues subtly bypass rational decision-making and encourage impulsive behavior. The feeling of having gotten away with not paying immediately provides a short-term dopamine hit, reinforcing the desire to repeat the experience. Over time, this leads to habitual overspending and a detachment from the actual cost of items. It creates a shopping environment where wants are prioritized over needs and long-term financial responsibility is exchanged for short-lived emotional satisfaction. The damage isn't always immediate, which is what makes this so dangerous. It accumulates slowly and invisibly until one day the consumer is trapped in a web of commitments they can no longer manage with ease. One of the most troubling aspects of the BNPL model is its tendency to target and disproportionately impact financially vulnerable populations. These include young adults, students, low-income earners, and individuals with poor or no credit history, who may not qualify for traditional credit cards or loans. BNPL appears to offer them a lifeline, a way to access goods and services they otherwise couldn't afford without background checks, interest, or complicated approval processes. But in reality, it exploits their financial insecurity. Many of these individuals lack robust financial literacy and are unfamiliar with how debt accumulation works, making them more susceptible to overcommitment. The allure of splitting a payment or delaying financial responsibility becomes dangerously tempting when living paycheck to paycheck or without emergency savings. BNPL can create a false sense of purchasing power, encouraging individuals to stretch beyond their means under the illusion of affordability. Once they miss a payment or overextend, they're hit with penalties or black marks on their credit, which further limits their access to affordable financial options in the future. This effectively locks them into a cycle of dependency on BNPL, on short-term loans, or on even riskier financial behaviors. Instead of lifting people up, BNPL often pushes the already struggling further into instability, under the guise of offering financial freedom. In the end, the most dangerous trap of buy now, pay later, BNPL, lies in the long-term cost masked by its short-term convenience. While it promises easy access, no interest payments, and a sense of financial flexibility, the reality is that it quietly fosters a lifestyle rooted in deferred responsibility. Users may initially feel empowered, believing they are managing their finances smartly by spreading out costs. But over time, the accumulation of multiple BNPL commitments, the temptation of overspending, the anxiety of tracking different repayment dates, and the possibility of default create a volatile and financially draining situation. This can lead to a chronic state of paycheck-to-paycheck living where most of one's income is already committed to past purchases. Instead of helping people get ahead, BNPL often keeps them stuck, unable to save, invest, or pursue bigger financial goals because they're always playing catch-up. What's more troubling is that many realize this only when they've already damaged their credit, lost control of their monthly budget, or experienced mental stress due to debt overload. BNPL may seem like a friend in the moment, but unless used with extreme caution and discipline, it becomes a silent enemy that chips away at financial health, stability, and peace of mind over time. In chasing ease and speed, many sacrifice long-term security, trading their future freedom for fleeting, impulsive gratification.